You know, I really love December because it gives me an opportunity to work on my year-end videos and express some of my personal opinions on gaming as a whole. This year, I actually decided to start a brand new series focusing on some of the sleeper hits, some of the games that maybe didn't have as much of an advertising budget as the AAA titles, games that maybe you passed up on because you wanted to play something else that maybe seemed like it was going to be bigger or better, but overall games that were actually outstanding. These are the ones that more than likely a lot of people didn't play, but really need to have a chance to shine. So let's get started focusing on some of the best sleeper hits of 2012. Now, just to clarify, I'm not saying that any of these particular games are better than any of the others. Number 1 isn't necessarily any better than number 5, but these are all games that did a great job of entertaining, that really stood out in their respective categories, and might be a pretty fun and, honestly, pretty inexpensive way to stuff your stocking come this Christmas. So let's check it out. It's DSP's Top 5 Surprisingly Good Games of 2012. The best games that you probably didn't play this year. Number 5, Binary Domain. I'll be honest with everyone, when Binary Domain was released, I had no idea what to expect. I hadn't done any research, I just heard it was going to be some kind of a shooter game with robots. And so when I actually dove into the game and realized what it was, I was very pleasantly surprised. A unique mix of third-person shooter gameplay similar to that from the Gears of War or Uncharted series, combined with some really cool unique elements such as dialogue trees, basically kind of almost ripped straight out of Mass Effect 3. A long, interesting story with multiple characters that you can play over the course of the game, and whose individual stories not only do you get interested in, but you also start to care for these characters. There's also some really cool, unique elements to Binary Domain, such as the graphics. The graphics actually have a part to play in the gameplay, because the gameplay allows you to focus in on certain parts of the robots that you're fighting. So for example, you may be fighting a certain robot type whose only weakness is to shoot out the legs, and if you shoot out the legs, they'll die. Maybe some of them have heavy body armor and you actually have to shoot a particular area of their body to get that body armor to come off before you can kill them. But not only is the gameplay unique, but also the story. Here's a wide branching, arcing story about basically people who are secretly cyborgs and don't even know it, a worldwide conspiracy, and it really did shine compared to a lot of the other games and plots that came out this year. I mean, let's be honest, this year was a year of generic sequels, kind of dial-it-in stories. Binary Domain actually stood out amongst the pack when it came to narrative. And in addition to all that, the game has unique RPG elements. You can equip your characters with certain weapons and such, and level them up in certain areas, and it really does feel like a unique experience. It seems like they actually took some of the best aspects from some of the biggest AAA titles and combined it into one game. So what was the problem? Well, unfortunately, Binary Domain really didn't have that much of an advertising budget. I mean, like I said, I had no idea what this game even was going to be when it was released, and it may be the fact that it was so many things combined that people really didn't, know how to describe it or how to get the word out about it. So, in my opinion, Binary Domain, very interesting, very fun, very underrated game this year. You should definitely check it out. Coming up next, a game that almost never made it to US shores ends up being one of the most quirky yet fun games of the year. Check it out.